Hello, I'm Brian Giammi, and this is my boss fight on Planet Zen. This was the final project for GAT 310, or 3D Level Design 2, a class at DigiPen Institute of Technology, taught by instructor Brandy Grace. The boss's model was done by Dylan Kelly, the voiceovers were done by Mike Halbrook, and everything else was done by me, Brian Giammi. So, to get started, what we have here is a large, torus-shaped alien cathedral, designed to be radially symmetrical from as many angles as possible. This is a Vortigaunt cathedral, Vortigaunts from Half-Life 2 fiction being very Zen-like aliens with psychic powers and no recognizable need for or possession of technology. So, the lighting in the room was specifically chosen to take the eye straight from out here, where you start, for the central platform, and right to our large, epic-seeming gaping hole in the ceiling. Now, we'll see exactly why we did that in just a moment. Here's our little intro NPC. Here's a Vortigaunt. Now, I call him an NPC because, to a gamer, he just looks like a person you talk to. He's actually just a prop. That's why he doesn't have a shadow. Can't quite rig that up. Let's see, we made him a little oranger than he is by default. Makes it a little easier to see against the dark blue background, depending on the angle you're at. And from testing, we had a lot of people that like to trigger the speech and run around in circles. So we put this white fade out in to grab their attention. Remove everything from the screen, except for this. And here's the boss, looking nice and epic over there. Okay, so you may have noticed a large glowing yellow power core thing dangling GLaDOS style from the ceiling. And this is a Source Engine fight, and you only have a physics gun. You can't actually shoot him, you don't have anything that shoots bullets. We just have this little tool here. So, keeping in style with Portal, we wanted to make this more of a puzzle fight than a fight. So to kill him, you can't actually do anything to the boss himself. He's got this little shield around him, we'll see in a second. If I approach him, it phases in and is intended to tell the player, hey, you can't hurt him like that, maybe you should think of something else to do. So we have these little manhacks spawn in. Manhacks are these eerie little glowing red eyes with the buzzsaws around them that like to flail at the player seemingly dangerously. So, to pick up one of these with my physics gun, I have control over him right now, and pitch it at that large power core looking thing at the ceiling. And hey, look, it exploded. Now, that is actually the way you damage the boss. These red tethers connecting the back of him to the center of the room are intended to show the player that this is his weak spot, in fact, and if you want to win the fight, you should put pitching dudes in here. We also, to make that extra noticeable, put a large glowing swirly vortex around it, and, if you can see beneath the boss, this nice huge trail of sparks that are intended to be the biggest vertical lines drawing at the fastest speed we can get them from the center of the screen. This is totally a lesson from art class. The idea is to use motion and vertical lines to pull the eye straight toward the center of the screen. So even if I'm just running past, I might notice, hey, there's something up there. Oh, look at that. That looks kind of glowy. I wonder what I should do to that. And there you have it. So the manhacks spawn until there are about 12 of them. We don't want to kill the player with them, just kind of scare the player with them. A lot of this fight is about perceived danger. Most of these attacks don't actually have a large chance of killing the player, but since the player is constantly running around trying to find ammunition with which to attack the boss, we actually find that they get distracted and took hits enough anyway. So rather than make homing lasers, we picked a few simple attacks that don't actually put you in too much danger. This one right here mostly just goes over the top of the central dais where the majority of our players like to sit. And here we have it again at its intended position. Let's see, now in a second here, he should fire off his quad laser. Oh no, he's going to the center of the room. That noise he makes implies he's jumping to the center. We found that a lot of players fought the fight from the center of the room, and in traditional action boss style, we figured we'd have specific noises correlate to specific attacks, and play about a half a second earlier, so you have that last-minute chance to jump away from wherever it is he's going. Now we have the quad laser going off here, and that looks a lot more dangerous than it is. This is actually a neat trick. Every laser's target is bound to a small individual invisible train spinning around one corner of the room. And because of that, it's actually impossible to be in danger of being hit by any more than 2 of those lasers. But the player doesn't know that. The player sees 4, so they generally tend to get really, really scared and start running around. And they usually don't take any damage, but they thought they were going to, which we find makes the fight a lot more exciting. Let's see. Now, as you said before, he made that noise, jumps from the center of the room, and he will always fire off his purple radio laser from the center of the room, which swoops across the outside platforms in case you've been sitting there for a while. Not a lot of danger there, but enough to scare you away from your hiding place. Let's see. That's the majority of the fight. After that, it's really just dodging his lasers and pitching these little guys up there. So, at the end of the day, we have a nice little flock of glowing red dots making nice buzzsaw noises, trying to scare the player away. A variety of lasers bound to specific noises, so that you can remember what noise he made the last time he used an attack, and you'll find it. Oh, looks like he's dead. And, of course, a nice little satisfying cutscene when all is said and done. And this is part of a larger campaign, and this level does transition into other levels. So what normally would happen here is we get a nice little bit of dialogue while running away from the remaining manhacks. The room starts to shake, and soon enough we fade to white and head to the next level. That being said, I made this fight, and not that one. So, thanks for watching. If you are a game designer, I hope I've given you some insight into how I think. If you're not a game designer, I hope I've taught you a thing or two about game design. Thanks.